Hi friends, welcome back to Ohio Tropics, where you don't have to be from Ohio to follow my plant tips. If you've watched my last geranium video, I showed you how I brought my geraniums out from their winter storage dormancy and how I repotted them. And for the last 3 weeks or so, I kept the plants in my greenhouse to start them back into growth, or you can also place them in front of a sunny window or grow light. And now the weather is cooperating for me, so it's time to place them outdoors. I'm in zone 6A, by the way. If you keep your geraniums in active growth indoors during the winter and don't let them go dormant like I do, these tips for moving your plants outside will still apply to you, so please keep watching. So I have 6 potted geraniums here, and these used to be just bare canes just 3 weeks ago, and look how they burst out into leaf, and also some of them are even blooming. The first criteria that I have, and this is really important, before you move your geraniums outside, is that you want to wait until the minimum nighttime temperature is at least 40 degrees Fahrenheit or so before moving them outdoors. This is the rule that I use. They can even take a little bit colder, but I don't like to push it too much. And wherever you select, I would recommend placing them in a sheltered spot that doesn't get much wind in order for your plants to gradually become hardened off to outdoor conditions. Now, geraniums are sun-loving plants, but if you've had them indoors, either growing in a window, or if you've had them in dormancy like I have and started them back up into growth, when you first move them outside, you cannot place them right away in full sun, otherwise it will burn. You have to acclimate your plants slowly so that they don't burn. So when you first put your plants outside, and this goes for any plant that's been indoors and moving it outside, what you'll want to do is you'll want to place them in complete shade for several days before you increase the sun exposure. So what I did here was I carried out an umbrella and I put all my geraniums underneath, and they're going to stay here for a period of probably 1 to 2 weeks. And over time, you will quickly notice that the growth will get stronger and stronger. Now, after about a week to 10 days or so in full shade, I'll expose them to morning sun, maybe an hour or so every morning. And each day I'll increase it slowly, or every couple days you can increase it maybe by half an hour or so until they're fully accustomed to morning sun, and then go from there. You'll do this over a period of 2 to 3 weeks, and after that time your plants will be fully acclimated to sun. That is the biggest mistake that most people make when moving plants outdoors. If you're finding this video helpful, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now that I've talked about temperature and lighting, the next thing I wanted to discuss is watering. How do you know when to water your geranium? What I like to do is I just stick my finger right into the soil, and when the top inch or so has dried out, go ahead and water your geraniums. You want to make sure absolutely that you have your geraniums in pots that have drainage holes. That is a must. Now, if you've watched my video before this on bringing geraniums out from their winter dormancy, you saw the soil mixture that I use. I basically use about 3 parts of an all-purpose potting mix and 1 part perlite, just to add a little bit of variation to the soil. You do not want your geraniums to go completely dry for too long, because the lower leaves will start to turn yellow and brown and fall off, and then you're going to get a very lanky plant. Next, I'd like to talk about my fertilization approach for geraniums. When I repotted these, I added some of this Osmocote right into the potting mix. Many people wonder what those little tiny balls are when they purchase plants at the nursery, and it's basically Osmocote or a similar slow-release fertilizer. So you would basically mix it per package instructions into the soil, and every single time that you water, it slowly releases nutrients into the soil. So this is what it looks like. They're little tiny balls that you just mix into your potting mix. You can also scratch it into the surface of any existing plants. Now, the beauty of using this fertilizer is that it'll last up to 6 months. After my geraniums are hardened off and I've moved them into full sun and they've been outside for about a month or so, I'll start to use a seaweed and fish fertilizer, such as this Neptune's Harvest fish and seaweed fertilizer. I've included all the links to these fertilizers that I'm recommending in the description below, so be sure to check it out. Now, you don't have to use all the fertilizers I'm using. If all you do is the Osmocote, that's better than nothing. But to really take your plants to the next level, this is what I do. So I'll use this for about a month or so. You simply dilute a tablespoon of this per gallon of water and use it once a week. However, I only use this outside because it is quite stinky. And after I've been using the fish and kelp fertilizer for about a month, I'll then switch to a bloom booster fertilizer. There are many fertilizers out there that are touted as bloom booster. I use this one from Miracle-Gro, and this really helps explode the amount of flowers that your geraniums will get for the season. So I'll continue to use this fertilizer as recommended on the label all the way up until early fall, and then I'll stop fertilizing completely. And this is so the plant can then start to slow down. Now, I live in Ohio, so depending on where you live, you may want to do the same thing. I want my plants to slow down before I put them in winter storage. Now, as the season progresses, I'll create another video where I'll continue to talk about other important parts of geranium care so that you can keep your plants in beautiful shape all summer long and loaded with flowers. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button and I'll see you guys next time.